A teacher work day. Do you guys like teacher work days?
Huh?
Do you like teacher work days?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't have to make them up and we don't have to go to school.
You don't have to make them up and you don't have to go to school.
And it's not online.
And it's not online. What do you guys think has been the biggest pressure put on you with going to school, with whatever grade you're in right now? What has been the biggest pressure put on you?
No.
Now? Like, what does that mean?
Well, it used to be grades.
Yeah. Do you feel like school is the biggest pressure, the thing you have the biggest pressure on, or is there something else in your life that there's a lot of pressure on? Or is it just school? Both? So what's the other stuff outside of school?
Parents.
Parents?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It's just like your parents is pushing you to like graduate and all that stuff. Like what are you gonna put into like after college, after high school and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is what my parents always like to help me.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do after you graduate? I'm like, I haven't even like, we're not even like halfway through the year. You're already asking me.
Yeah.
I'm in middle school, high school hasn't hit yet, so I'm fine.
True.
Having to keep up with like a schedule of all of the stuff, and I always have to make sure I'm on time for stuff, like babysitting, on time for practice, when having practice and babysitting back to back.
How do you guys handle that pressure? So the pressure with school, the pressure with babysitting, taking 5-hour naps. How do you handle, or after school plans, post-graduation plans? How do you handle that pressure?
I mean, me personally, I like to like take the pressure to stress off when I work out.
You work out?
Yeah. What kind of home?
Are you sure?
You-
Like spiritually?
Both.
I mean physically?
Both.
Oh yeah, I can tell for sure.
Both.
I'll just mess with you. So working out, okay.
Music.
Music. Do you guys feel like there's pressure put on you as a Christian?
Every day.
What kind of pressure? You said yeah immediately.
I mean,
What kind of pressure?
no one's gonna be a perfect Christian, and so there's always gonna be a pressure on you.
Yeah. Like who's putting that pressure on you?
I'd say you have to be a role model to people.
Are you putting that pressure on yourself, or is there?
Yeah, I feel like people put the pressure on themselves.
Okay. To be a good role model, like you said? Cool. Okay. Do you feel like that's healthy, or do you feel like not really? 'Cause I think there is. I mean, as Christians, we do have pressure to make sure we're honoring God, right? That's a healthy way to put pressure on ourselves. Not necessarily pressure, but more accountability, right? Hey, am I honoring God today? Am I a good role model to everybody else who's watching? If I'm representing Christ, I'm representing the church, I'm representing Christians around the world, am I representing them in an honoring way? But then we put so much pressure on ourselves that when we fail to meet expectations, when we fail to meet those expectations or pressure we put on ourselves, then we shame ourselves. Right? If we put so much pressure on ourselves to read our Bible tomorrow morning, and we don't read our Bible tomorrow morning, we're bummed out, and then we don't read our Bible for a whole week, or whatever it may be. Do you think that makes sense or no? Is that you can't read? Dude, I failed English twice.
I felt mad.
I can't read either, and he can't do numbers, so it's okay.
I can count though, shit.
But God still
I can
loves
count.
us. But in what ways do you feel like you have pressure as a Christian? Cole said role model. What other ways?
Not praying enough.
Not praying enough? What do you mean by that? Like, you have pressure to pray every day, or like pray more?
I have been trying to pray every day, and I have this lock screen on my phone.
Yeah.
That I change every night before I go to bed, and it's like a nightly like before bed prayer, and then I'll add on to it after I read it to myself. And that was when my parents were out of town, so I had my phone to sleep with. Now they're back in town, so they keep taking our phones at night.
Yeah.
So I always forget to pray.
Mm.
So
Okay.
The word.
Pressure to read the word? Or what the word says?
Both ways, because I mean, most of the time, like when a non-Christian person asks you something about the word,
Mm.
you don't really have. Because most of the time, it's my mom. She's like,
Yeah,
if you don't read the word, how are you gonna like spread the word to like somebody that doesn't know?
that is a valid point.
Because like sometimes I just don't like it when like you're in public and then somebody like, let's say like they ask you to share something, right? And you
Yeah.
say no, and they're like, that's not what Christians are supposed to have. They're supposed to do this. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not what it means, most of the time. But
Mhm.
it just for me, it's the word in general.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Because I mean, on my phone, every single time I unlock it, I have like a little widget where it has like the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like every single day, I try to read it at least.
Nice.
Yeah, I have that too. I have just like this big widget on my first screen where it tells me the rest of the day.
So like, how about the pressure about dating? Do you feel like you have a pressure to date? Or to be in a relationship?
I've changed myself.
Yeah, she's
I haven't
changing a
cared
lot.
about boys since.
Since Blake?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that too. I'm like, what did you say this time?
Okay. What about like, remember in high school, like, in high school, middle school, being in a relationship was the thing. Dating somebody was like, hey, you moved up 5 points in the scale if you were in a relationship with somebody, like that type of pressure.
I mean, still nowadays, like if you don't have a significant other, you're looked as upon as
I
like.
mean, what are you, 80 years old, significant other?
Okay, what do you want me to say?
Partner.
Boyfriend, girlfriend?
Simple.
A girlfriend?
Either way.
There you go.
It could be an other. No, I'm joking. I'm
Being
joking,
other.
I'm joking.
Significant other?
Significant other.
But you feel like does that still exist? Is that a thing?
What was?
But is that a thing though? Is there a pressure with relationships and dating at school?
Yeah.
No.
There's not?
Not really for me. I just don't really care.
You said yeah. Why do you say
I
yes?
mean, I don't care anymore because I don't go to school and I don't care about guys.
Yeah.
It's not like you're living with them. It's not a grown-up relationship. It's a
Yeah.
high school. For me, it's a middle school relationship. So for me, it doesn't really count because it's middle school. For them, it's high school. It's more meaningful.
Have you had a girlfriend?
Have multiple.
Yeah, but it doesn't count. We don't care about it. That's right.
With
Yeah.
It doesn't
confidence-
count, but I've had multiple
Hey Josh,
girlfriends.
with
Yeah.
confidence, I've had multiple.
School. So we got pressure with grades, pressure with
Stop.
after school stuff. We got pressure with dating, pressure to pray, pressure to read the Bible. It's just a lot of pressure. And then you relieve that pressure by listening to music, working out. Is there any other ways you can relieve that pressure?
Volleyball.
Volleyball, playing sports. Yeah.
I hate it so much right now.
Ooh, so here you go. So if you feel like there's a pressure on Christianity, do you feel like you're still comfortable with going to God to release that pressure when the pressure kind of is about God?
I mean, I would say yes, but like most of the time we don't even turn to God.
Who?
I said yes, but most of the time we don't even turn to God.
Okay, where do you turn to?
Friends, parents.
Why not turn to God then?
Because you can't see him.
But we have a Bible, we have His Word, we have the Holy Spirit inside of us. That's a good point. Let's distract you. Even though you can't see God, like we can't physically see God, like sit down in this conversation right now. It'd be a lot nicer if we could. And we can't physically see God. How does that affect your relationship with Him?
Sometimes you get the doubts that He doesn't exist.
Okay. Yeah, even though we can't see God, like God's not sitting. Yes, we know He's here. We have faith He's here and that He can hear us. But He's not physically here the way in flesh, in a fleshly manner like we are. How does that affect your relationship with Him? That the fact that He's not in flesh with us right now. Does the fact that you can't physically see God affect the relationship you have with Him?
Yes.
In what ways? Yes, and sometimes.
Because you can't sit face to face
Okay.
and have the
Words.
The personality, like the personal goodness.
Relationship.
yeah, sure. We'll go with
Okay.
that. That's not the word I was looking for, but
Something like that.
Why'd you say yes?
Can God forgive Satan?
Can he?
The one that why hasn't he?
Who said he did?
I mean, the
He
one.
has, but Satan hasn't accepted it.
Satan just wants to be top of something.
God can forgive somebody, but somebody who doesn't want to be forgiven won't be forgiven.
So that's like somebody who doesn't accept Christ.
God can't force us to accept Him. If He did, we want that one to love. We freely get to accept Him because He loves us that much. Do you think so? If God was physically here right now, what would you ask Him?
I mean, would we really have questions if He was here down to with us?
I don't know. I've never seen Him face to face.
I mean, nobody has, but we're just saying that. If he was
Probably
here with
ask
us-
him what the Eden fruit was.
peace and patience.
Peace and patience. You ask Him peace and patience.
Ask him for peace.
For peace and patience. Be careful asking for God for patience, because then He'll test you and grow your patience. Bible jokes. You guys are famous actors, by the way.
Hey, Vanessa,